Leet code question 242, valid anagram. So given two strings, s and t, return true if t is an anagram of s and false otherwise. Uh, so an anagram is if all the letters in one string correspond to all the letters in the other string. Um, but all the letters are rearranged. But if all the letters are still there, then it's an anagram. Otherwise, it's not an anagram. So this has three A's, an N, a G, an R, and an M. This also has three A's, an N, a G, an R, and an M. Whereas for rat versus car, they have two A's, but there's no R in car and there's no T in car, so they're not an anagram. So they have to have all the same letters. So how do we do this? Well, this is probably another storage question. My first thought process here is we have to store all the letters into a dictionary, and then we'll store all these letters in the dictionary, and if both these are similar to each other, then we return true, otherwise return false, because if they're similar to each other, then they're an anagram of each other. And that kind of helps with the duplicate letters as well. So, for example, we're going to have this dictionary, and it's going to loop through everything and put a number to a value. So let's say you're going to put A in here, so you're going to have A, and then N, and then after that you see A again. If you see A again, so A right now is equal to 1. You see A again, and then now you update this counter to 2. And you keep on going. It's like kind of like a word counter, or a letter counter. So it counts all the letters and sees which ones are duplicates of each other, and each duplicate we increase this value by 1. And then we do the same thing here, and lo and behold, this has 3 A's in it, this also has 3 A's in it, and if everything is the same, then they are equal. They're an anagram of each other. So how do we write that in code? Okay. So what do we do here? First of all, we have two dictionaries that we want to input, right? So we have scene1 is equal to s, or no, scene1 is equal to an empty dictionary. Scene2 is also equal to an empty dictionary. Then all we have to do is cycle through each string. So for letter in string, we're going to go scene1 letter. So the key is a letter. So let's say the key is A, and then we want to input a number to it. So we want to increment it by 1. So what we could do, like one solution is to make this 0 or initialize it with 0. If you could say like if scene or if letter not in scene1, then we initialize it to 0. So scene1 letter is equal to 0. Else scene1 letter plus equals to 1. Something like this. So if the letter is not in there, so if it hasn't been initialized yet, initialize it, and if you see the letter again, then you update it by 1. But the dictionary method, or the dictionary object in Python, has an automatic get method that allows a default value. So what you can do here is actually go scene1 or scene1.get, and then the letter, otherwise default to 0 plus 1. So what this does is it'll get the letter. So if letter is a key in scene1, then it'll get that letter. Otherwise, the default, it'll just create it and make it 0. And then we'll plus 1. So if it's 0, we plus 1, so that'll be 1. Otherwise, it'll just get the number. So if it's already initialized as 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, and so on and so forth. So we just have to do the same thing in T. So scene2 letter is equal to scene2.get letter 0 plus 1. So now we have both of those dictionaries, and then now if scene1 is equal to scene2, then we return true. Oops. And this is the same as just returning scene1 and scene2. So that is the same thing as that, and that is the answer. So let's try this out. So ptestpy, and what did I do? Oh, whoopsies, and I didn't print this out. So this should print out true, true, and let's say that we do something else like an S here. So that's false. So yeah, that is the anagram problem.